Thank you for tuning in. This show is made possible by going to and clicking on the links at DNF Tool Drawer, heading over to DNF Swag and picking up some of the cool 5-star apparel, as well as the loyal monthly Patreon fans at patreon.com/5star.
Yay.
Hey,
well, hopefully all that worked.
Yeah, it looks like everything works.
All right, guys. Hey, welcome to tonight's show. We have a special guest tonight. One of my favorite guests of all time that we had here in studio. We had a blast with him. We tripped down memory lane, and he's an award-winning competitor. He's just one of the coolest guys ever in car audio.
Yes.
And he agreed to come on, which is still, I always go, wow, really? Okay, cool. But Mr. Nick Wingate is on today. We're going to talk about amplifiers, and with what do we got? That's it. So the sponsor of the show, of course, as always, or for tonight, is Orca Designs, which he happens to work for, which makes it really easy for us to talk about sponsorship. So I'm just going to add him in, and we'll get going. Good day, sir. How are you?
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you this evening?
Wonderful.
Better than you. No.
Yes, you are. That is the God's honest truth.
So thank you for coming on, man. And it's certainly in present condition.
It keeps my mind off of what's going on. Thank you.
Yeah. But no, that's great. Well, as I teased at the beginning, we're going to be talking. I've been actually talking about for a solid month was getting you on and talk about amplifiers.
Yes. Sure.
And the reason why I wanted to talk about amplifiers was, for one, it's still a big mystery to a lot of people of what makes amplifiers, grades of amplifiers better, as well as I'm kind of wanted to break from DSP because I feel like we've all just been DSPing it up for like the last 2 years, and it's like, yeah, but those have to attach to something, and we can have the best DSP in the world, but if our amps suck, not that they would, but if they do, well, so I wanted to kind of just give everyone a refresher course and what makes amplifiers spectacular.
Well, they all sound the same. So why are we doing this?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Is there an I? I'm sure there's an I.
Oh, I'm sure somebody will come up with something they're going to call it in class I. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, D does not mean digital.
No, D does not mean digital. It most certainly does not.
It means duh.
It means duh.
Duh.
I'm going to use that. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to use that from here on.
Please do. Well, because it's like it was the next letter, and then it was like, duh. Yep, that's it. It reminds me of that one ad when the Oreo commercial, when the guy goes, Oreo. He goes, you're a genius. Man. Yeah, but so we.
It's gonna be fun night. It's coming. I can feel it.
I'm trying really hard. So we for months now have been talking about the new Pro 430.
Yep.
And I remember the day you handed it to us. Oh, and of course it glitches in right when he smiles. The day when you brought it or when you handed it over to us, it was like, hey man, it was almost like you were handing us your baby. That's okay. Don't worry about it. It'll unfreeze and freeze throughout the day. So we'll be all right.
It will be fine.
Oh, now it's doing that. Oh gosh. Okay. It's all right. The joys of live.
That is correct. Yeah. So just give it a second.
Let it buffer. Oh.
All right.
So let me get him back. All right, hold on. Let me pop him out. Pop him back in. Hold on a second, Nick. Oh, he
Yeah,
dipped
yeah,
out.
that's perfect.
So that's cool. We'll bring him back
There we
in.
go.
All right, here we go.
Perfect.
Oh, hey, all right. All right,
right.
back at it. All right, simple enough. All right, so as I was saying, when you handed us the 430, you're like, it was like you were handing us a child. You're like, this is
This is a baby.
This is a special piece. You know, the little yellow glow came out of the top. Nick's internet is just hating him tonight.
Hang on.
Oh no, take your time. It's all good. McDonald's Wi-Fi. All right,
That's
Mike.
right.
But
63 megaseconds. So there you go.
that's okay.
He's getting there. He's
We're
getting there.
there. We have your voice.
We're getting the bars back.
All right.
I can see you guys.
Okay. All right. Well, we're halfway there. That's why these things happen at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Let's see. All right. Hang on. Let me do
All right,
this.
so let's go. Yeah.
Do
That
that,
one.
and then we'll add them back in. And then, of course, that dropped them out all together. All right. Well, now you see Nick. Now
You're
don't.
done. Yeah.
All right. We'll get it.
Yeah,
We'll get it
as
figured
soon as
out,
We get it,
so-
we'll get it back.
Oh, all right. So he's gonna try to log in one more time, and we'll get him. We'll get him back in.
Yes.
So just play with us tonight, guys.
Yeah.
We'll get this figured out for sure.
I
What does it
just
say?
want to say hello to everyone.
Yeah.
Live in Florida. It's a great country in Texas. Yeah, that's right.
Sweden's in the house. Iceland is checking in.
Hey, El Fernandez, what's up? Auto Lighting. John, what's up? What's up? Christian. Up. Okay, so we're just waiting on Nick. Playing freeze.
That's when the guy out of frame right now is doing this. Stretch.
Yeah.
Stretch.
It's just,
You know what? Hey, why he's off and we're waiting, I want to go back to this first question that Hammer asked. Hammer asked this question, and we asked Nick before we went on the show. He says, no, do not do this. Get a set of carbonates.
carbonates.
So do not do C10s from Illusion for what you're describing here. Get a set of the carbonates. You'll have a much better result than that. So we did get you an answer for that before the show started. But see, San Antonio's checking in.
San Antonio. You're taking all the Wi-Fi, dude. There you go. We got Nick back.
Oh, we got Nick back.
See.
Okay, so sorry, Baba. We're gonna bring Nick
Phone.
back. All right. Oh, you switched to the phone?
Yeah, I switched to the phone.
All right, turn it this way. See if it'll rotate right. Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Okay.
You actually look better now. Not gonna
Well,
lie.
umpteen million people in my neighborhood all come home between now and 6 o'clock. They all get on the internet at the exact same time.
Ah,
Yeah.
fun.
Anyway,
Anyway, so we have the 430.
yes.
We're going to spend some time talking about tonight because one of the things you said to me before you left was, hey, this amp is really special and call me. So better than calling you, you get to just tell everyone so that I don't have to third-hand information this out.
Sure.
And hold on, let me oh, hey. Let me pull this out of the way here, and I'm going to go back because I want to pull up this picture right here. Add to stream. Ooh.
Okay.
What are we looking?
So this is Sex Appeal.
Yeah.
All right. So before we talk about this, why don't you give everyone kind of the sales pitch of the Mosconi Pro. So like the overall view of the amplifier line, so we can kind of get an idea of what we're dealing with before we get into it.
The Pro series of amplifiers was something that was actually starting to be developed roughly about 6 years ago. It was originally going to be a replacement for the AS series amplifiers, which, I mean, let's face it, the AS series has been a fantastic, they're reliable, lots of power, everybody loved them. But the gentleman who is the head engineer, his name is Filippo, Filippo has had this design kind of in mind for quite some time. And it was basically what he wanted to do was take a minimalist approach to signal coming in and going out. And he had a circuit design in mind. And as you can see, this is a picture of the 430. This is 170 watts channel by 4, which is, it's a lot of power, folks. And the basic design of all the amplifiers almost looks exactly like this. The main difference in this amplifier from the other Pro Series, be it the 530, the 410, the 210, or the 110, is this is a Class A monster. It has the ability to go from Class A over into Class B operation seamlessly. It doesn't switch, quote unquote, from Class A to Class B. It literally slides, as they call it. It literally will look at the signal, determines if that happens to be something that it needs more current. If it is, which it probably is because it's a bass note, then it slides over to Class A, B operation. And then if it doesn't see it, then it slides back to Class A. Wow. That is something I have never heard of. I did not. I was like, it does what?
Sounds like it sounds like a Coolio song.
Yeah,
slide.
Because in the series of amplifiers, quote unquote, above this unquote, in the zero line, there's a Class A amplifier, and that operates in pure Class A up to about 30 watts a channel, but then it switches to Class AB if it goes beyond 30 watts. This amp does not do that. It's a continuously variable design. I mean, it's something that Filippo worked on for quite some time, because what he was after was basically to get as much of a tube sound as he could possibly get out of a car audio amplifier. That was the whole premise behind the entire Pro line of amplifiers. And I think he's done it. The first time I heard the Pro 530 was at CES, the year it got launched. And my chief engineer, Alan Hosebus, and I, we both kind of just stared at each other. And first time we heard the 530, we said tubes. And it does. It sounds an awful lot like KT88 tubes. This amplifier reminds me of big Macintosh tube amplifier power.
Wow.
And that's, and if you get a chance to listen to this amplifier, you're going to realize this is different. Not just simply because of the Class A biasing and a few other things that the amp does. It's the soundstage this thing throws. It's the imaging. It's three-dimensionality. It's effortless power in lower mid bass, and I mean, it's just it sounds like high-end home audio is what it sounds like. So,
which a lot of people have no idea what high-end home audio sounds like, but that's a whole nother debate that will rage on forever.
Yeah.
So let's look at this bad boy here, which is the power supply for the amplifier.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you gave me this picture for a particular reason.
Yeah, if you take a look at this, you're going to notice you don't see 253,921 parts.
No.
Again, it's a minimalist approach, and Filippo believes that. And I will tell you that every time I hear amplifiers designed like this, they sound better. They sound effortless. They throw a huge soundstage. And I can tell you one of the best people that ever designed a minimalist approach amplifier was a man by the name of Dan D'Agostino, who designed an amplifier called Krell.
Oh, yeah.
And if you've ever heard of Krell home amplifier, boys and girls, there's a reason why they are called, one of the top amps designed ever in the world. And I talked to Dan. This was going about 20 years ago. I had an opportunity to talk to him for about an hour, and he told me that when you see amplifiers with tons of parts in them, because what you're going to find out is they're hiding something. It's a piss poor design, and hey, who am I to argue with Dan D'Agostino? And he told me, he said, they've got all this negative feedback going into the amplifier. They've got God knows how many capacitors, resistors in here that's going to switch phase, Lord knows how many times. And by the time it gets to the output devices, it has changed the way that the signal looked going in to the amplifier. And it goes, and it's not the same signal. And yeah, and Filippo and the folks at Mosconi, they believe that. And there's this reason why when you take a look at this amplifier internally, it doesn't look like this should be 170 watts a channel by 4.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, because when you compare like we've been showing the insides of this amplifier on and off for about a month now. And one of the things is like when you look at this amplifier and then you compare it to some of the other amplifiers that we get to see the backs off of, it's like you almost look at this and you kind of get that old school feel like, why is this so big? Why? I mean, it's hold on. It's a big footprint amplifier, but you look at all this space and you're like, huh, why is it like that?
And then you look at the number of output devices up at the top, and then you realize, oh,
there's a couple.
there's a couple.
So let's talk about that. The output devices. Why are there so many?
Well, we have a theory. Alan and I have discussed this, and Alan has been in this longer than I have and has helped, with amplification design. And we are of the opinion that they are using that many output devices because they're different. They're not the same. There are different ones that they're using to get the specific type of sound they're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah. And, after doing some research, I found that certain MOSFETs have what is known as an even harmonic distortion that they produce. Well, it just so happens that tubes in Class A and home amplifiers produce an even harmonic distortion. And human beings like even harmonic distortion. That's what we all listen to. Like my voice, if I was there and we were listening to each other, we produce what is known as an even harmonic distortion. Most circuits today and transistors produce an odd harmonic distortion.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the reason why there's an awful lot of amplifiers out there that if you have a really, really revealing system and you listen to upper frequencies and you go, that sounds like trash, there's a reason why. And if you listen to a system for 25 minutes and you say, you know what, I need to turn this down, that's the reason why. It's producing an odd harmonic distortion. And our bodies react to it, and they're going, ugh, no, that sounds like shit. So, and it does.
Okay.
It's God's honest truth. Dean, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know. I'm I'm letting you take the cake on this one.
I'm just telling you the truth.
Oh, I know, and that's what's great.
But and that's the beauty of these designs, especially this one. This amplifier does not do that. I had an opportunity to spend quite some time with a gentleman that has one in his truck, and he's driving Utopia 3-ways, in-profile 3-ways with it. And I sat in the truck, did some tuning with it, and I was amazed at how effortless everything sounded. Nothing was strained. Normally when I'm listening to classical music and I'm evaluating a system, which I was, I'm listening to cellos and oboes, instruments that will range back and forth between 200 hertz and 800 hertz to 1,000 hertz, because that's normally the crossover point between a mid-bass driver and a mid-range in a 3-way. And if the crossover is screwed up, you notice it in the imaging, but also you're going to notice it in the amplifier, because the amplifier has a really nasty habit in this phase swing of showing up if it's not designed correctly. This thing, it was effortless. I mean, the imaging, the staging, the three-dimensionality, it all stayed exactly precisely within the soundstage, even though I was pushing it and I was getting really demanding on it, and I was getting very impressed to the point. Yeah, because we got a chance to listen to this amplifier on the two-way home system, in Orlando, and I was amazed by the soundstage it threw with the $1,200 each speakers we were listening to, which are really good. I mean, they're really good by Focal, but it's not $15,000-$20,000 home speakers.
No.
I can tell you that you could hook this amplifier up to Sopra 3s, which are about $22,000 a pair, and this amplifier will be ecstatic with them. That it just the speakers will go, "Thank you, I appreciate it." It really is. I cannot say enough about this design, and I hope this is not the last one Filippo does. I hope he builds more using this circuit design.
Or just goes back and rebuilds the other ones. Like Mark IIs.
Yeah. Now, the only thing that I can say about this, it is the size of a 530. It's in a 530 chassis.
Yeah,
so
it's big.
It's big. But it's not 36 inches long and 25 inches tall. No, it's not one of those monsters. But I know that our friend in College Station is about to put 4 of these in a Ford F-150.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah.
And that'd be Christopher Pate at MTI.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's about to build his truck, and I think he's going to put 4 of these in his truck.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not surprised. Let's be honest. There's no surprise with Chris. So, I mean, it's just like, yeah. I mean, it's like, hey, you know what I'm going to do? Something incredibly stupid and a lot of money. Tell me more. I mean, he has those British amplifiers that he had custom made.
Yep, he does.
So, and those are pretty unique amplifiers.
They are extremely unique. And
what are those called again?
They're audio wave.
There we
Audio
go.
wave.
Okay.
Yep.
Audio
So
wave.
let's talk about I know they're not yours, but you love
Sure.
to talk about this stuff. So what's so cool about those?
It is literally a hand-built, handcrafted amplifier. I've seen pictures of this gentleman's facility, and he has boards ready to go with some surface mount discrete components on them. But you literally either pick up the phone and call him or email or whatever, and you tell him what you want, and he literally will pull a circuit board out and build the amplifier by hand, and you test every single solitary component.
Yeah, they're pretty impressive.
Oh no, and there's a reason
I've looked at them and I've held them.
Yeah.
And it was like it was almost like he took a drawer out of a filing cabinet and said, "This is perfect for my amplifier."
Yeah.
I'll just put a piece of glass in here and I'll be all set.
And you'll be done. Exactly. Yeah, and he follows the minimalist approach too. He really does.
Yes.
And
we have to be able to see the flag.
Yeah.
And that too. I was, I've listened to them. They're flawless. They've got tons of power. They sound really good. They are extremely expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like 3 times the price of this amplifier with the 430.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's what's fun about it.
And precisely,
I mean, come on. I mean, not everyone's gonna have them.
No, they're not. But it's out there.
Yeah.
You just it's out there.
I think this conversation segues perfect into this question here. Can we get the fidelity from a digital amplifier? And by digital, we're gonna hold on, let me shut this off. I'm assuming, as we said, he means class D.
Which is not a digital amplifier.
No, it's not.
No.
It's just the class and how they make it. But so we'll just assume he meant class D.
I can see Nick.
That's
Save that
how
one
you
for.
make it. Okay. You
Save
think I
that one
didn't
for
hear
later.
that? I caught that, dude.
Save it for later. Okay. So anyways, let's kind of move into that topic just a little bit,
Sure.
Class D, because as we, and there again, we don't have to get too crazy about it, but as we know, there's always that debate between this being a Class A or a super high bias, making it a Class A. It has the ability to slide into Class AB when it really gets stressed, and then slowly result back to Class A, which is, I'm still blown away by that. You know, we have this amp that we were talking about earlier with a variable bias on it that we foolishly turned the bias all the way up, and it sounded spectacular. Class B doesn't, or sorry, Class D doesn't have anything like that, and it uses a whole different topography on how it works.
Class D takes an analog signal, which is what we're getting out of the RCAs, and basically it converts it to what is known as pulse width modulation. Okay. And the reason an awful lot of people say it's a digital amplifier is because it goes through a series of converters that looks at the width of the information coming from the analog signal. And if you look at it on a scope, it literally looks like the digital signal from a CD player. It looks like a bunch of ones and zeros, off and on is what it looks like. But it's not. It's an analog signal. And it measures them by width, and then it takes it and it converts it into another analog signal, and it sends it out. Now, back when Class D was first invented, which was actually many, many years ago, it was not designed for music. It was actually designed for motors and things.
Whoa.
And there we go. I got you back.
Okay, that's all right.
Somebody was trying to call me, and
of course, it always happens.
It's Orca.
Nautica, what are you doing, Nick? Yeah, he didn't get the memo.
So, but you know, Class D today versus what it was 30 years ago, you know, it's come a hell of a long ways. Everybody's learned what to do with them, what kind of filtering to put on them to actually make them sound really, really good. Because the problem was the upper frequencies above about 8,000, 10,000 hertz. It wasn't that good. They were not linear, which means the signal was not as perfect as like Class A or Class AB can give us. But they've learned. They've learned an awful lot, and it can be very satisfying for a lot of systems. I mean, if you listen to some of the multi-channel amplifiers like Yamaha and Denon and Marantz use in their home theater receivers, those are Class D circuits, you know, or maybe even Class G circuits now, who knows? But the last one I saw was a big Yamaha, and it had Class D circuitry in it. It actually sounded pretty good. You know, now, is it going to sound like the picture of this big Macintosh amplifier I sent you? No. Yeah, there you go. Is it going to sound like that? No. No. Not even close to it.
Right.
And why? Because it's a different circuit design, completely in every respect. This right here is based off of technology that was actually, you know, it's getting close to 100 years old. But everybody will tell you, well, why in the hell am I listening to something that's 100 years old when Class D technology is here? Go listen to the amp, and then you come back and go listen to your Class D POS, and guess what? You're going to go, how much is the Macintosh? And you're going to hear this figure, and you're going to go, oh, I see. Thank you. But it's just, you know,
time.
Yeah, but no, I'm not saying Class D doesn't work, because it does, especially in car audio, you know, today, because, I mean, let's face it, we all know that, you know, V8s are going to go away eventually. We're not going to have 150 amp alternators. We're going to have 110, 80, 60, or we're going to have an all electric car. And, you know, we're going to have to figure out what to do. And if we're trying to run these big Class A or Class AB amplifiers to get that last little bit of fidelity out of it, then we're going to be putting you know, as my uncle would say, a commode full of batteries in these cars.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to figure out how to charge them off of the system that is there. And yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, because Class D's efficiency, and that's the reason why we want to use them in car audio today. Yeah, it's certainly a viable option. I'm not saying everybody has to have a Pro 430. It would be nice. It would keep me in a job. I would really appreciate it. But it's not. No, is it necessary? No, it's not. It certainly isn't. At least not today.
Okay, so and that goes. So like if we have 430 budget as far as engineering goes, there's still really no way to get 430 performance. Like if we have that budget and we're going to make a 430, we're still not going to ever make that at present time sound like a 430.
No, that's not going to happen at this particular point in time. No.
So somebody was asking about bias, and I think that's one of those things. Could you kind of explain a little bit of what when we talk about adjusting bias, what that actually means?
Well, it's, how do I say this simply?
No, make it as complex as you want.
No.
I'm joking.
Basically, it's like if we're in Class A, okay, the way that this works, and it's the only way I can describe it, is like this. A Class A amplifier has what is known as a conduction angle. And what that basically is it takes the input signal, an analog input signal, and it basically it goes through its circuit, and it allows it to complete what is known as a 360-degree cycle, or an analog wave formation. Okay, because you've got a positive and you got a negative. Everybody knows that, right? It's 180 degrees in, it's 180 degrees out. That's how the speaker works, right?
Yep.
Okay. So Class A biasing allows us to get the 360-degree, basically, tilt, is what I like to call it, or conjunction. Okay. So if you go to Class AB, okay, you have two circuits instead of one. Okay.
Yep.
And it is set up to where it is biased more towards either Class B or Class A. Because if you have a bias towards somebody or something, you're slanted towards one or the other. That's basically how I can describe bias. And Class AB is what is known as push-pull. You've got two circuits. One is pulling, one is pushing. And the conjunction angle of it will not let you get 360 degrees. It's somewhere between 180 and 200 most of the time. And that's because of the biasing. If we were biasing it more towards Class A, we would get a 360-degree completion of the wave formation. If I bias it more towards Class B, then I don't. And the same thing for Class C and Class G and Class H. Now, Class D doesn't have what is known as a conjunction angle. It uses pulse width modulation, which is completely different, and really doesn't have any biasing, quote unquote. Okay.
Yep.
That's about as simple as I can make it.
No, I'll go with that. I mean, so the other moral to the story is the closer you get to Class A, the more current the amplifier is going to consume.
Yes.
The hotter it's going to get, and as we can attest to, when we bias the amplifier all the way up,
I bet you did.
So Jeff Smith and Fernando are out in the car playing with the DSP, and they're doing their stuff, and they were out there for about an hour and a half in this Florida heat because I was working on something in here, and they both had to come back inside and be like, amp's done.
Amp's done. Yeah.
Amp's done.
Shut off.
No, it didn't shut off. It was just getting to the point where everything in it was so hot, it was starting to drift. Yeah. Which is,
let it cool down.
Is another weird thing that was like, wow.
Yeah.
I want to
go. Oh, Lord. Yeah.
All right. All right. I'm going to go back. So let's go back to what you're going to say. Class A.
Class A is not very efficient. It takes a lot of current to get a little bit out of it. And that's the best way to describe it. For a lot of people, it's worth it. Yes, it is absolutely worth it. Bring up the picture of the Krell amplifier, Dean. Okay. This was one of Dan's first designs. This is a KSA 200. This is 200 watts of channel of pure class A, boys and girls. Yes, sir. You want to heat your house? Here it is.
And the funny thing is, I wish there was like a hand or a phone or something to give this scale. Yeah. Because I know this thing is just gigantic. It's probably like a 10 or 12 inch power supply there in the section.
That toroid is 10 inches in diameter.
Yeah.
That weighs 260 pounds.
Yeah, it's a ball buster.
Yes.
It takes two.
Yes. The thing of it is, you have to have a 220 volt line to power this amplifier up.
Wow. Ooh.
This is what Class A is asking, and there are more efficient designs now. But when you look at this and you understand that to get 200 watts of channel Class A, you see the capacitance. Those are 50,000 microfarad capacitors. There's 4 of them. Yeah. So there's 2 farads sitting here. Thank you so very much for playing. And then you see this massive toroid sitting there and all these output devices. And the amount of amperage this thing pulls, you've got to run 220. Otherwise, if you were to run it at 110, I don't want to see your electric bill when you fire this thing up. Because the amount of amps this thing pulls is going to be ridiculous.
Wow. So this isn't like a true dual mono design because it's only using the one power supply. But I mean, as far as the inputs output goes, is it basically a dual mono style design?
Yeah. Okay. It's a dual mono. Yes, sir. Just like the Adcom amplifier you just showed. That's
we're gonna go back to that because for those of you guys that are new to audio, there used to be this company called Adcom. And Adcom made home audio amplifiers, to which I still have. Do you still have any Adcom home?
Yeah, I've got a 5300 and a 555 too.
Ooh, damn. Okay, so you got the big ones.
Yeah.
I don't have one quite that large.
That's okay. It was designed by the same person.
Oh yeah, no, I have the 3525, which was the 4-channel that you could turn into a 3-channel. So that powers my center and my rear. One of the things that was unique about Adcom is that all their amplifiers started with GFA.
Yep.
Which essentially stood for Great Effing Amplifier.
Absolutely. That's exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Started. Yeah. I played with them for a while.
Oh,
I had my spin in home audio for a minute. So like all the home audio, like a lot of the home audio amplifiers, Macintosh, Adcom, and there was a couple other that didn't, Crown and stuff like that. They all got into home audio for about 5 minutes. I'm sorry, car audio for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And Adcom was no different. And there again, they took that home audio approach and tried to bring it into a car, which is usually why they failed. But talk to me about what we're looking at here, because a lot of people look at this and they'll think, yeah, it's definitely a car, but wait a minute, it's missing some pieces.
Yeah, it is. This is an Adcom 4702. This is circa 1995. I actually own one of these amplifiers. What you're looking at right here is the Class A output section. This is 70 watts of channel, pure Class A. Now, you'll notice the number.
I just want to point out, you said 70 watts a channel.
Yeah.
Okay, so when these guys are looking at their big 5K surfboards that have less than this,
yeah,
just wanted to point that out. Keep going. Sorry to interrupt.
What you're gonna notice that there's a left and the right, and you were correct. That's exactly what this is, and they mirror image each other. The gentleman that designed this, his name is Nelson Pass. And if you want to go look up Pass Audio, please feel free to do so. And be sure you bring your American Express card if you want one. Nelson started out with a company named Threshold, built amplifiers for them, then went to Adcom, and now he owns his own company. And he literally designed this amplifier off a design known as an Aleph 30. that was the buzz of home audio for almost 3 years because it was an amplifier you could build at home.
Oh, really?
If you had any technical prowess, and if you knew how to use a soldering iron, you could build this amplifier. And it was 30 watts of channel, Class A, sounded amazing. The reason I'm showing you this is because this is just the output section. The power supply is external from this thing, and I could not find a power supply picture, and I'm sorry, but it was an external power supply that was connected to this by an umbilical cord. And this thing was, until I heard the 430, this was my favorite amplifier of all time in car audio. It just could do things that would just make the hair stand up on the back of your head.
So when we're talking about external power supply, why would you do that?
Well, you're separating, the electromagnetic field that the toroids create away from all of the output devices and of course, all of the capacitors and resistors. So Nelson was doing everything he could, because back then the circuit design wasn't designed to keep noise out. It was designed to sound as good as you possibly could make it.
Yes.
And you had to move the power supply around in the car to find a place where it didn't pick up stupid noise. And then you had to run the umbilical. Oh, it was the biggest pain in the ass you had ever messed with in your life.
And you now know why Adcom doesn't make car amplifiers anymore.
That's exactly right.
So no kidding, you would have to move, I remember doing that with like EQs and power wires and RCAs and
oh yeah,
I think.
Well, let's hope.
All right, nobody move.
And then we had the balance line. This was actually a balanced line. It was using two 5-pin XLRs for this, and he was getting he was getting a ton of voltage going into this thing, and it was was it worth it? Yeah. Was it a pain in the ass? Yeah. Would I do it again? No.
That was 95. It was 95.
Yeah, it's 30 years ago, but geez Louise, man, this was, like I said, this was a learning curve for them. But the sound from this was just amazing. Before I went back to work for Orca, I was trying to find 4 of these. I was going to build a system using 4 of these amplifiers. And I found 2, but I couldn't find 2 more that actually were working.
Okay.
Yeah. But now, good luck finding one. This amp in 1995 retailed for $3,400.
In 95.
In 95.
So that would be a lot more by today's standards.
It'd
be like 10 grand.
Yeah, it'd be like 10, 15 grand. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be like a Tony D'Amore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of Tony's big 4-channel monsters. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Which there again uses something that looks very similar to this in design as far as dual mono design.
Yep.
It
does.
Obviously with technology being the way it is and us being a lot smarter today, he can integrate his power supply into the amplifier without worrying about noise and all that other nonsense.
Exactly.
Which he did a really good documentary showing how he designed that amplifier, and he used his daughter as kind of a timeline on how to do it. That was really cool.
It was. I was thoroughly impressed with it. A lot of people don't know this. Tony D'Amore is right literally behind Orca.
Oh yeah.
Literally, Alan and Alec and I can walk over there in 5 minutes and walk in and say, "Hey, Tony, what's going on?" And he'll show us whatever he's working on. It's the first time I ever got a chance to listen to that 4-channel monster he built. We were sitting there and he fired it up, and I just sat there, just started laughing. I was like, "My God."
You didn't have your American Express with you that day?
Oh, no. Thank God I didn't, because I would have been divorced.
Malachi, give me yours.
No, I was like, good. I thought, man, we could power half of LA with this amplifier. Jesus.
Oh, dude, it's a beast.
It is.
It's amazing how much power it produces, and it's effortless.
I would hope so.
Oh yeah, for the kind of money he wants for it, yeah, damn right, it better.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go back. Let's talk about this monster for a minute.
Yeah.
So I think the question, yeah, I know. I think the question was, we talking about referencing to tube amplifiers, like making it sound like what is it about the nostalgia of it? Because I mean, all right. So humorous story, and I know you'll appreciate this. When Alpine came out with their little tiny back amplifier that goes onto the back of the 650 that they have, those little ones that screw on the back of the radios. So Dan and the guys are telling me, yeah, when we went to them to have them design this, we said, make it sound like a tube amplifier. And so the little guy that had to design it was like, he took them serious. He didn't realize they were joking. So, he DSP'd the amplifier to make it sound like a warmth of a tube amplifier. But
sure.
And I'm just sitting there going, okay, sure. Hold on, let me get my Kool-Aid. I'm not in the mood right now. I'm not going to drink that. So from what is it about the tube that makes it like the reference?
It really and truly, it's, for me,
yes,
it comes down, most of the power tubes that I really like, they are Class A. And again, it comes down to the even harmonic distortions that they produce. And you can hear it. And when you're talking about a design like something we're looking at right here, it's effortless. It's, and you and I both have heard amplifiers just give it up. If we push it, and it's like, you're thinking, oh, I can get a little more out of it. No, you can't. You're thinking, oh man, it's only pushing 15 watts a channel. Let's go to 30. And it's 150 watts supposed to be. And you go to like the 30 watts continuous, the amplifier goes, yeah, up yours.
And your ears don't lie. Yeah, your ears go, hey, there's something wrong here.
And tubes will go right to the limit before they start going, I'm sorry, but you really need to quit what you're doing, because we're fixing to get really freaking hot and quit anyway. And that's, I mean, you literally can go to 90% on the amplifier before the tubes start going, okay, that's enough of this BS. And I think that's the reason why, when you look at something like this and this is one of the newer amplifiers from Macintosh, Class A has a hard time with bass.
Yes.
Because it's very demanding, and the current draw and the power demands, unless you've just got a hell of a lot of tubes. So, the reason I like to show this is the best of both worlds. You've got 300 watts a channel of tubes and 600 watts a channel of solid state, and a 2-channel amplifier. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
Yeah. I mean, I had an opportunity to listen to this on a set of speakers that are stupid expensive. And I sat there, and I've sat there for about an hour and a half. It was very fortunate. The gentleman let me. And I was like, okay, yeah, my home system sounds like ass.
Yeah, doesn't that just ruin it for you sometimes, though?
I need to just go home and set it all on fire.
Yeah.
And just
okay,
go
good.
by.
I'm not the only one that's had that moment. All right. Good.
No, and I just be happy with my $10 buds and shut up.
Just some Sonus, call it a day. Little soundbar action.
You know what? I that's okay.
Yeah.
But this is the reason why I wanted to talk about this, and not just because of the amazing sound. Is there's an awful lot of people out here that say all amplifiers sound the same. It is the biggest bunch of BS I have ever heard in my life. Okay, because I'm just going to tell you, boys and girls, right now, this minute, if you think for 1 minute that my Adcom 5552, which is a hell of a good amplifier, can hold a candle to this thing right here, I got news for you. No, it doesn't. It can't even come close to what this thing sounds like.
And the Adcom is a beat.
Oh, and it's a hell of a great amplifier. It really is. It's got all kinds of power. It sounds amazing. Hell, I've got a Crown A300 upstairs that a friend of mine gave me, that he literally recorded part of the Rolling Stones Sticky Fingers album on.
Oh, nice.
It's part of history. I love it. I love the way it sounds. Okay, does it sound like this? No. Does it have the presentation? No. Can it produce bass notes like this? No. Even though it's the same kind of power? No. Yeah, because
wait a minute.
You know,
Are you saying that not all power is created equal?
Oh no, no, hell no.
Okay,
not by
just
any.
checking.
No, I mean, come on.
So 50 watts is not 50 watts. Is 50 watts?
No. I mean, let's face it. Car audio has a really nasty habit of overrating everything unless it's a really good, reputable company. Yeah, and we all know them. You know, we all know who's reputable. But, you know, there are some products out there that said they produce 5,000 watts. Really? Let's count up the transistors and let's do the math and let's look at the power supply and then let's find out how many amps this thing pulls and let's do the math. No, it does like 50. But it says it does 5,000. Yeah, well, I can also run a mile in 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
Damn.
But
way to go, Nick.
But that's on, you know, but that's when I was 22. Nick's 62. No, Nick gets in a car and goes to the freaking corner and goes to get groceries. No, they're not all created equal. I'm sorry. That's not the case. There's a reason why amplifiers that are of a higher quality cost what they do. Parts matter. Design matter. Engineering matters. And there are reputable companies out there who spend hundreds of thousands of dollars every year on research and development to try and build something better. You know, like the 430. That's 4 years worth of research and development and a hell of a lot of work to get something to sound the way it does.
And a hell of a lot of money.
And it's not cheap, you know, but is it worth it? In my own personal opinion, sure. Right? Because I'm the discriminating pain in the ass audiophile. That's what I want. You know, but even great sounding Class D, it takes a hell of a lot of research and a lot of work and a lot of development to make it sound good. You know, everybody talks about why, you know, certain Class D amplifiers don't sound very good because they didn't finish it. You know, but there are some that do. There's some that sound amazing. There's some that sound fantastic. Why? Well, that's because they finished it. They knew what they were doing and they finished it. And that's the difference when you see amplifiers that have multiple fuses in them, like you see 3 40 amp fuses, or you see an amp that's got a single 20 amp fuse, and they're both Class D, let's say. You go, well, one's more efficient than the other. Probably not.
Oh, come on, man. What are you trying to say? They're both 100 amps or 100 watts, both 100 watts.
Yeah. All you got to do is start doing the math. You know, so no, they're not all created equal. I'm sorry. No.
All right. There you go. Well, holy crap, Nick. As usual, like you've always said, that hour flies by when we're having fun.
Yeah. I know.
Let me remove this here. That takes us to an hour, man. I mean, we had a little glitch there in the beginning, but I want to say thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about just some general amp knowledge and lore, and you know, one of the things that makes the 430 so special, and just in general what makes amplifiers, you know, a little bit different. Not, you know, no bad, no good, just different, and sometimes the different is what makes it better.
Exactly. And that's the reason why there's so many different circuit designs.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
You just got to listen to them and see which one you like better that goes with the system you're designing.
100%.
That is correct, yes.
Words of wisdom. Well, I want to thank you so much for spending your night with us. I know you don't feel the greatest right now, but you performed wonderfully as always.
Yeah.
Feel better.
Thank you, sir.
There again, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, no. Anytime, guys. Yeah, I always enjoy spending time with you guys. So anytime, just let me know.
All right.
Get some rest, Nick.
I will let you
Thank you,
know.
sir. Appreciate it, Fernando. Dean, take care.
I will. All right, man. We'll see you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, there you guys have it. Mr. Nick Wingate from Orca.
Yeah.
I was so excited that he agreed to come on and spend some time with us because he's just the nicest guy in the world, and he cuts right to the chase, man. He gives it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for tonight. Don't forget to tune in Wednesday. That's Wednesday at 6:30. This Wednesday, we'll have Mr. Brian Schmidt on talking about the new Master Tech Expo that is going to be happening in 2023. It is right around the corner. So he's going to tell us, he's going to let the cat out of the bag. Let's just call it that. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll let you get on with your night. You guys have a great night as always. Don't forget to head over to DNF Tool Drawer where you can pick yourself up the IRTA2. Let me flip over here to Fernando's. Of course, it's also a great place and go and find any tools that we use in our installation that you might be interested in. If you're like, hey man, what did they use there?
Yeah.
It's here. So, and of course, DNF Swag is the place to pick up your cool 5-star shirts and hoodies and stuff like that. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for playing along. We'll see you later next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.